Welcome to Dolphin Dive Daily, your go-to spot for everything Miami Dolphins. If you bleed aqua and orange, hit that subscribe button and join the pod. Miami is buzzing and the rumor mill is spinning faster than ever because all signs point to Kendrick Bourne landing in South Florida, and that changes the whole shape of this Dolphins attack. Picture this. Mike McDaniel already has the league's most electric duo in Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, both capable of blowing the top off defenses on any given snap. Defenses have been scrambling, pulling safeties deep, trying bracket coverage, and still getting burned. Now imagine sliding in a reliable WR3 like Bourne, a player who might not be the headliner, but who knows how to run precise routes, make tough contested catches, and most importantly, keep chains moving when everyone is keyed in on the two speed demons. This isn't just depth, this is chess. Miami isn't playing checkers. They're stacking the board with matchup nightmares. And Bourne is the kind of receiver who thrives in the shadows created by superstars. It's the kind of signing that doesn't break the news ticker for casual fans, but could end up being the most critical piece in keeping drives alive when defenses throw everything at Hill and Waddle. For Dolphins fans who've been craving balance, this rumor feels like the missing puzzle piece. Think back to last season, when Miami's offense hit walls in late-game situations because the playbook narrowed. If Hill wasn't getting separation or Waddle was blanketed, there wasn't always a consistent third option to step up. That's not a knock on the guys already in rotation, but the truth is the drop-off was noticeable. Defensive coordinators spotted it on tape, and when Miami hit December football and playoff-level intensity, it showed. That's where a guy like Kendrick Bourne becomes invaluable. He's built his reputation as a dependable chain mover, someone who understands spacing, who adjusts to broken plays, and who isn't afraid of the dirty work across the middle. Put him in motion, line him up in the slot, or even outside when Hill shifts, and you suddenly have versatility that makes the Dolphins unpredictable. Bourne isn't going to draw double teams, but he will draw mismatches against nickel corners and safeties. That's exactly what McDaniel loves to exploit, and that's why this rumor has legs. It just makes too much football sense. It's also worth noting that Bourne brings a personality that seems to click with Miami's locker room culture. The Dolphins have cultivated a vibe that's fast, flashy, and fun, but also relentlessly competitive. Hill's energy is infectious, Waddle's celebrations pump up teammates, and Tua has grown into a quiet but steady leader. Bourne has always been described as a glue guy, the type who keeps morale high, works hard in practice, and never complains about targets. That matters when you're talking about fitting into a roster where two guys are already gobbling up the lion's share of looks. You can't bring in a receiver with an ego that demands WR1 touches. It would throw off the rhythm. Bourne, though, has thrived in similar roles before, with the Patriots and the 49ers, and he's proven that he doesn't need to be the star to be effective. For a franchise looking to maximize every ounce of talent around Tua Tagovailoa while his window is still open, this is the sort of under-the-radar acquisition that keeps a team humming. It's a locker room boost and a tactical upgrade rolled into one. And think about Tua in all of this. Quarterbacks live for security blankets, those receivers who might not be flashy but are always in the right spot when the play breaks down. We've already seen glimpses of Tua at his absolute best when the offense flows in rhythm, and adding a target like Bourne can extend that rhythm through 4 quarters. Imagine 3rd and 7. Defense rolls coverage over Tyreek, safeties bracket Waddle, and Bourne sneaks into that soft spot just past the sticks. That's how you stay on the field. That's how you keep Tyreek fresh for deep shots later. And that's how you tire out defenses that spend all game running sideline to sideline. Tua's accuracy is tailor-made for receivers who understand timing, and Bourne fits that profile perfectly. He's not going to outrun everyone, but he doesn't need to. He just needs to win his assignment. And in Miami's system, winning your assignment means someone else is about to get open too. It's a domino effect, and Bourne could be the piece that sets it all in motion. The other layer here is durability and experience. Miami's wide receiver core has dealt with its fair share of injuries, and when Hill or Waddle have been less than 100%, the offense has looked vulnerable. Bourne doesn't come in as an Iron Man, but he brings enough mileage and toughness to steady the rotation. He's played in pressure environments. He's been on playoff rosters, and he understands the grind of an NFL season. That matters when you're chasing not just highlights, but a Super Bowl window. The Dolphins are no longer the league's fun sideshow. they're contenders. Every roster move has to be judged through the lens of January football. Can this player help when it's freezing in Buffalo or loud in Kansas City? Bourne has played those games, and he knows how to contribute even when the spotlight isn't on him. He's not the kind of player defenses build game plans around, but he's exactly the type who can make them pay for focusing too much elsewhere. If you zoom out, this rumor about Kendrick Bourne to the Dolphins feels like one of those classic NFL storylines where a mid-tier signing ends up becoming the turning point. Think about past teams who found that one extra receiver who kept the offense from stalling. That's the mold Bourne could fit into. Miami already has its fireworks, already has its headliners, but every great band needs a rhythm section, and Bourne is rhythm. He's not going to be on posters, but he's going to be in the stat sheet when it matters most. Fans might shrug at the headline today, but give it a few months, and they might be chanting his name after a critical third down grab in a playoff push. That's the energy surrounding this buzz right now. It's not about fantasy football points or jersey sales. It's about balance, about unlocking levels of efficiency, and about giving Tua one more reason to trust the offense in high-leverage moments. If this rumor becomes reality, the Dolphins' attack just became that much harder to stop. The whisper growing louder around Miami is that this front office has been eyeing Bourne for a while, not as a splash move, but as the exact fit for their long-term offensive philosophy. McDaniel has always emphasized spacing, timing, and forcing defenses into impossible choices. Hill forces safeties back, Waddle stretches seams, Mostert and Achane pull linebackers in a hesitation with their speed, and now you add Bourne to punish every hesitation. That's what makes the chatter so intriguing. This isn't desperation. This isn't filling a hole. This is about making an already elite offense unfair. You don't stumble into rumors like this unless there's some smoke, and the idea of Bourne suiting up in aqua and orange is starting to sound less like fantasy and more like inevitability. It's the kind of quiet move that ends up on film study breakdowns when analysts ask how Miami turned into a matchup nightmare week after week. Fans might not realize it yet, but the seeds of something special could be taking root with this one. Of course, skeptics will ask the fair question, how much difference can a WR3 really make in the grand scheme? And on the surface, it's reasonable. Miami already has 2 Pro Bowl talents and a head coach who schemes them open better than anyone. But football isn't played on paper, it's played in situational moments. And in those moments, the third option often decides games. Defenses know where Hill and Waddle are every snap. They've spent entire practice weeks drilling how to contain them. And yet all it takes is one overlooked slant to Bourne to move the chains, one crossing route to flip field position, one red zone curl that keeps the drive alive. Those are the plays fans don't remember in highlight reels, but coaches remember them in meetings, and teammates remember them in trust. That's why WR3 isn't just a depth chart slot. It's a role that tilts balance. And that's why the Bourne rumor isn't background noise. It's potentially the front page of Miami's next chapter. Let's also consider what this says about the Dolphins' mindset. They're not satisfied with fireworks alone. Last year's offensive explosion was fun, but it also revealed that Miami still lacked certain situational answers. The front office seems to be targeting players who can give them exactly that: reliability, consistency, and trustworthiness in moments when speed alone isn't enough. Bourne embodies that philosophy. He's never been the flashiest, but he's always been the guy coaches rave about in meetings: dependable, professional, and accountable. The Dolphins appear to be building for the grind, not just the highlight reels, and this rumor lines up perfectly with that approach. It signals ambition without recklessness. It signals a team willing to strengthen its core rather than chase distractions. And most of all, it signals belief that they're right on the edge of something historic, and they're willing to tweak the formula until it's championship ready. That's the subtext fans should be hearing when Bourne's name pops up. From Bourne's perspective, Miami looks like a dream fit. He'd be stepping into an offense that doesn't ask him to carry the weight, but allows him to thrive in freedom created by others. That's not an insult. It's an opportunity. Not every receiver is meant to be a WR1, but every contender needs a WR3 who knows his role and embraces it. In New England, Bourne showed flashes, but was often caught in a system that didn't maximize his strengths. In San Francisco, he contributed but never had the quarterback play to unlock his ceiling. Miami offers both: a creative scheme and a quarterback who thrives on precision. The chemistry potential is huge. He wouldn't need to chase numbers. He'd be chasing wins, and that's often when players discover their true impact. The Dolphins could give him the platform to prove that he's not just another name on the depth chart, but a crucial piece of a championship-caliber puzzle. The ripple effect could go even further, too. Adding Bourne might mean less wear and tear on Hill and Waddle, who've shouldered enormous loads. Every meaningful rep Bourne takes and converts into production is one less high-leverage collision for Miami's stars. Over a 17-game season plus potential playoff runs, that matters more than people realize. It's not just about having another option. It's about keeping the whole engine running smoothly through January. Imagine Hill and Waddle entering the postseason with fresher legs because Bourne was there to handle the grind of tough second-quarter drives or third-down battles in Week 12. That's the kind of invisible impact that shows up when it counts most. It's not glamorous, but championships are often won on the backs of unglamorous plays. Bourne could be the insurance policy that keeps Miami's Ferrari offense on the road when others are sputtering out of gas. Still with us? Then show some love. Hit that like button and let us know in the comments. What's your take on the Fins this week? At the end of the day, rumors are rumors until pen hits paper, but this one carries a different weight. It feels aligned, logical, and almost too perfect to ignore. The Dolphins are no longer chasing credibility. They have it. They're chasing legacy now, and every addition is judged on whether it helps them get over that final hump. Kendrick Bourne isn't a household name, but he's the type of move that championship teams make. Not for the headlines, but for the wins. If this rumor solidifies into reality, the Dolphins' offense might just have found its final gear. And for a fan base hungry for January triumphs and February parades, that's music worth turning up the volume for. The whispers in Miami aren't just noise anymore. They're building into a rhythm that could define the season, and Bourne might be the beat that ties it all together. There's also the narrative side of things, the human angle that fans and media latch onto. Kendrick Bourne has never really been handed the spotlight, but in Miami, he wouldn't need to chase it. The spotlight finds the Dolphins every week. Playing alongside Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle means national coverage, primetime slots, and endless highlights, and yet Bourne's contributions would shine in their own way. Every time he makes a clutch grab on third down, or hauls in a red zone touchdown after the defense spent all drive worrying about speed, the story will build. The overlooked piece who became essential. It's the kind of arc fans love, the hardworking pro who slips into the perfect role, and suddenly everyone realizes his true value. Miami's offense is already one of the NFL's most exciting shows, but adding Bourne could give it a layer of grit, of dependability, that makes the spectacle sustainable week after week. In a league where narratives matter almost as much as stats, Bourne's fit feels poetic. He's not the headliner, but sometimes the supporting act makes the whole performance unforgettable, and Miami's stage might finally be where his story peaks. And if we're honest, this rumor doesn't just excite Dolphins fans. It sends ripples across the AFC. Division rivals like the Bills and Jets would immediately take notice, because it's not just about adding talent. It's about solving problems that opponents were starting to exploit. Last season, defenses figured out that if they took away Hill for stretches and forced Miami to live without a reliable third receiver, they could slow the machine down. With Bourne in the mix, that blueprint collapses. Suddenly, Buffalo can't roll coverage the same way, New England can't lean on man-heavy disguises, and the Jets' elite corners can't cover everyone. It changes scouting reports, shifts preparation time, and that's a massive advantage before the ball is even snapped. Championship windows are short, and the AFC is stacked with heavy hitters, so every little edge matters. Adding Bourne might not dominate ESPN tickers, but coaches in rival film rooms would be circling his name with frustration. That's when you know a move is real, not when fans celebrate it, but when opponents groan about it. If Miami pulls this off, the rest of the conference will feel it. That's a wrap for today's dive. If you're loving the content, share it with a fellow Dolphins fan, hit subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a splash. Fins up.